When I hear the word Bible, my first impression is a book, thick as a brick, filled with rules I expect people to follow. But then I found Blue Period, and that felt like a different kind of Bible. It's not something to actively follow, but something to quietly live with. It's an unspoken guide for how artist survives, struggles, and keeps creating when things are at the darkest. Blue Period talks about the emotional and psychological world artists lives in when they face reality. The exploration about self-discovery, the painful learning process, and the pressure they have to endure of choosing art as their lifelong career. None of it feels exaggerated. It follows a logic that feels uncomfortably real. Every Bible starts with stories, not to give clear answers, but to quietly point people in a direction. And that was what Blue Period does. It doesn't tell artists what they should become, it just lays out different paths and lets you see where they lead. Somewhere in the story, you'll eventually recognize a part of yourself, directly or subtle. They may not relate it to art, but relatable to the passion we once loved. We never truly know who we are or what we really like until we find something we're willing to sacrifice everything for. Just like Yatora in the story, he is a model student who struggles to find his real identity. Treated daily work and the satisfaction it brought as the same level as completing a daily game quest. When he saw Mori Senpai's angel painting, he was shocked. Inspired by the angel, and for the very first time, his painting conveyed his honest thought about Shibuya. None of the people understood him, but his friends surprisingly made the comment and related to the blue Shibuya he talks about earlier in the morning, which he had been ashamed to mention. As a strict model student, he discovered that through art, for the first time in life, had a real talk with others. It's a moment of achievement and being seen for the very first time. The second major breakthrough happened during the second entrance exam. The art topic he got was nude model. While painting, he discovered that he is at a pitiful nude level, yet he depicts his before drawing self as something even lower than pitiful nude. Can you imagine what could go lower than a pitiful nude? Is a transparent person that nobody cares about, nobody listens to, while self-esteem does not even exist. To put it in a gaming term, he's not a player, but a blank NPC in the MMORPGs. At the end of the anime, he finally found himself upgraded from an NPC into a naked character. Maybe naked is too much, more like a new player with starter gear at the beginning of the tutorial. You have grown up from treating the world as a game into commenting his past as a transparent person. Yatora's struggle is real. The character progression in his self-discovery pushed him into reaching a new chapter in his self-esteem. He learned how to build it by conveying message through art. Art is a field of talent and experience. Some people start early, some start really late. Just knowing that others have started earlier can generate stress. That stress can hit artists very hard, but it can also push them forward. Yatora is a late starter. He was the last one to join the art club. At the art school, he meets peers whose whole family went to art school, a guy obsessed with art and a true genius who seems to do everything perfectly. They all started art since they were young. Compared to them, he's way behind in experience. Just thinking about starting so late is overwhelming, and yet his target is Tokyo University of Art, whose acceptance rate is only about 5%. That stress pushes Yatora to work harder to fill the gap between him and them. Blue Period shows that starting late is normal, stress is normal, and joining late doesn't mean you cannot catch up. Late bloomers exist for a reason, just a matter of time, practice, and consistency. Fear is a special emotion. It makes humans avoid dangers, but it also forces action. It's one of the main emotions that supports Yatora along with other negative feelings when learning how to make art. Art requires digging into who you are, and that creates an emotional roller coaster. Pride, frustration, self-doubt, and the breakthrough moments. None of it would happen without negative emotions as a foundational pillar. Yatora faces challenges and constantly questions himself. He learns that the scary thing about art is you can't fake it. If you're not honest, it's not an art that can touch his people. Later in the anime, before his first entrance exam, Oba sensei tells him to have fun with his art, but Yatora still wonders, what if I make something just for fun and gets rejected? It doesn't know what to do if the painting he enjoys making gets turned down. The thought simply made him fear. All of this rings true for real artists. The shame and fears comes with every artwork they release. Art demands honesty, and what closely follow honesty are the critics and the harsh judgment. Those can deeply hurt artists. Society expects a very clear path. Go to a proper school, find a stable job, live a regular life. Yatora's family is no exception. They can't afford private art school. And like many families, they expect him to choose something stable. This kind of pressure isn't rare. Parents worry about money, safety, and the future. They're simply being realistic. Art feels risky to them. There's a common belief that art can make great money. A running joke in my circle is that most art students just end up becoming art teachers, which keeps the cycle going. This becomes even more painful when you look at Ryuji's story. His family completely rejects his so-called his weird identity. And this isn't just a fictional problem, it happens everywhere in the world. That's why Ryuji is one of my favorite characters in Blue Period. He is very true, and he raises a question. Why does society treat him this way? He let the audience step in his shoes, and suddenly everything makes sense from his point of view. And we started wondering why the society works this way. From that moment on, I just felt how unfair it was for Ryuji to be blamed by his family for simply being true to himself. In my opinion, art is not that different from fields like psychology or philosophy. They're all about human and self-exploration. Artists present things as seen from their world. The difference is that society do not like their honest and their worldview, and they're getting punished for being over-characteristic. The group often gets labeled as job insecurity, instability, and no guaranteed future. Art students understand how this feels, and it adds pressures to the artist. Comparison is unavoidable in many ways. It's one of the main things that drive Yatora forward. In the art world, comparison feels especially cruel. Only the most impressive works gets noticed, and only the top student gets accepted. It's not restricted to just artwork, it can be anything. Yatora constantly compares himself to his peer during the grading session. Yutatsuke, on the other side, is an art genius, but he also compares himself to Yatora. At one point, he tells him, "Don't come to this side when you already have everything. You didn't even have to do art." Yutatsuke is comparing himself to Yatora he sees on the surface. He thinks Yatora has everything he doesn't, without realizing what Yatora truly wants. That moment leads to one of the most striking lines in the anime. "I'm betting everything on this. This is all I have. My engine is exploding. I'm scared, terrified, scared to death, but more than that, I want them to bow. I'll kill them all with my art." That intensity says everything. Comparison isn't just about skills, it's about worth, identity, and survival. The blue paint of Shibuya ignites something in Yatora. It leads him to pursue art. He always compares himself to others, yet he never leaves art, all for the purpose why he chose art, even when many other roads are open to him. It may take a long time and a lot of practice to get there, and even if the cost is heavy, he believes it's worth it. That kind of mindset, being terrified, desperate, and at the same time being honest, is something many artists understand deeply. Blue Period shows that being an artist isn't always about fun. It puts you in an artist's shoes and exposes what the path really looks like. Yatora started as a complete beginner. Watching him navigate these struggles let us see the reality every artist faces, a reality that no one fully understands unless they've walked it themselves. Watching Yatora push through reminds us that art isn't about winning, it's about living honesty with your passion, and that honesty, even when it's scary, messy, or misunderstood, is what allows someone to truly live in the world. I decided to make a video on Blue Period because it struck me so hard when I first read it. It's one of the manga that I follow every month for new chapters. The reason I like Blue Period so much is because it's true. The stories, the emotions, and the passion for art are all so genuine that I can't move my eyes away from it. Blue Period is not just a Bible for artists, but a go-to guide for anyone to understand and empathize. If you have watched me all the way here, please leave a like and share your thought. There was originally a second part for Blue Period. I'll release if there's enough interest. And I hope you've learned something from my video. Thank you very much for watching.